Hey there, everybody. It is a new Black Friday Blacklist discussion, and this one's gonna be fun. This one, we got theories aplenty we are about to just throw right in your direction.
Is Anne alive? Is she? Is she? Nobody actually really knows. And I know that there has been some discussion out there that it has been confirmed that she is dead, but has it been? We're going to talk about all that.
This is gonna be fun, but we'll start the whole and discussion just by providing a little bit of context because we know what the immediate response is gonna be on all of this. So, apparently John Bokenkamp, creator of the show, no longer attached to it, he told the Blacklist Exposed in a podcast that we have not heard the podcast, but we have seen a lot of the comments on Reddit that are about it, discussing this. But apparently in this podcast, John says that Anne is dead and that Anne is gone. So there you go. That is the quote unquote factual statement on the matter of Anne.
Yeah, so could John Bokenkamp be telling them the truth? Absolutely. Of course, yes. She could actually be dead and John is telling the truth.
Yeah.
That is one scenario.
Now, bear with this, everybody. Okay, because here's the thing. We're not saying that, John Bokenkamp was out there like straight up lying and cackling him to himself after the fact.
No, I don't think that he would go onto this podcast and straight up lie to them. I don't think that that's what's happened. However, it does put showrunners or actors in kind of difficult positions where if they're being asked that question or that question has come up, where if they cannot give a straight answer on it because they know that there's a surprise coming up, there has to be a way that they have to be able to either dance around it or say that it's not happening, because otherwise it's ruining their own story or their own plot line that is going to be coming back later. And John would not be the first person who has gone on an interview and said that something's not happening when it is.
There's so much to unpack here because it is sort of like, number one, John Bokenkamp created a show featuring a main character who tells half-truths better than anybody in the history of mankind.
Absolutely.
Also, okay, here's a good example we thought about with this. When Crisis on Infinite Earths was happening, and that was that big Arrowverse crossover that was on the CW.
Yeah.
Tom Ellis reprised this role of Lucifer. Well, he's not reprising, but he brought Lucifer over there. Lucifer became a part of the Arrowverse and all of that. But the thing is, he did an interview leading up to it or around it. And I believe it was with Entertainment Tonight. And in this interview, he says that he's not in it and that he was just in Vancouver to attend celebrate a friend's birthday. Turns out he was in it. And it turns out he sort of said afterwards, I was celebrating a friend's birthday, but I was also kind of doing this. So here's my crazy theory with Bokenkamp here.
Yeah.
Maybe he could go back and be like, well, Anne was dead. ... In the eyes of the public, Anne was dead.
Yeah, absolutely. There are ways for him to get around that if she is still alive.
Here's the other one. This one, okay. Commenters, just take a deep breath. I may be being shady. I don't know.
Shady Matt's out.
John's not on the show anymore. And so, theoretically, maybe he did want Anne to be dead. But he's not there. He can't protest it if they decide to bring her back. Right? I'm not trying to just be like horribly just like wicked here, but it is like Anne is a popular character. People really liked her.
Yeah, and we saw her in Red's arms, and that is all we saw. We didn't see the body go into the ground.
Yes.
We didn't see anyone coming taking care of the body. We didn't see a cremation. We didn't see anything. So if the show does want to bring her back, there are ways to do that.
And it's also one of these sort of things where we went on a Is Tom Keene alive rabbit hole earlier this year. And if we're willing to entertain that possibility, which seems like it is probably the most minuscule chance of happening imaginable.
Yeah, he ain't come back.
And being alive suddenly feels like incredibly believable and realistic.
Okay, so before we get into how we think she could actually be alive, be sure to subscribe to the channel.
We have so many Blacklist discussions coming every Tuesday, every Friday. Yep. We're here on Thursdays when the show is actually back on the air.
And also follow us over on our Instagram, Matt and Jess TV. We are having a lot of really fun conversations over there about the show as well.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining it and being a part of just like our extended TV family world. We appreciate it.
Okay, so I touched a little bit on this, and this is where my funeral director hat is going to come out. For those of you who don't
Yeah.
know, I'm a former funeral director. So working with families after someone has passed away is something that I know quite well. So the idea that nobody told Anne's daughter, nobody from the funeral home has spoken to Anne's daughter, nobody has informed her that her mother is dead, and that it is Reddington who shows up to her house a week later. A week. So
Yeah.
Anne has been dead for a week. And then Red, someone she has never met, is going to show up there and give her the news is completely unbelievable. Unless Reddington has done something himself with her remains, that he didn't bring her to a funeral home, he didn't register the death, he didn't get a burial permit, he didn't do anything. Let's say that's the case.
Okay.
Then why didn't the daughter even ask about, like, well, where is she? What funeral home is she at? Has she been buried? Where can I see her? Like anything. There's no questions of anything. It was really strange.
I do not have any of this experience. I am not a former funeral director. And even I was sitting here being like, and she's just going to take Reddington at his word with all of this. Like, we're supposed to be like, okay, that's fine. She's just going to move forward with her life. But there's so many just different unanswered questions. It's sort of like, what about everybody else in this community where Anne was? What about it's not like Anne was just a stranger to all of these people.
Or any even extended family. If this was her only daughter,
Yeah.
she's the next of kin. She
Yeah.
is the person who would be contacted if anybody knows that Anne is dead legally.
This is if Anne is still alive and is like actually coherent. Like this is the only theory that I sort of have in my head on a lot of it, that she is just off somewhere and Reddington has put her in hiding until conceivably all of this is over. He's mentioned that he's sort of at the end of this project. Maybe he has just reassured her, I'm going to get out of this life. I'm going to get out. I'm going to have a normal life with you. Everything is going to be hunky-dory. Just bear with me until that is done. Like, could that be possible?
Sure, that could be possible. The only questions I would start to get into is okay, if Reddings is like, listen, I'm gonna get out of this life. Just give me some time to dismantle my empire and everything that's going on. I'll give some money to your child so that she's able to kind of take care of herself. She'll be well taken care of, so that if she thinks her mother is dead, that there's some sort of just financial compensation for what she's gonna go through.
Yeah.
I just have a hard time believing that Anne, as a mother, is going to say okay to this. That, yes, she loves Reddington, but she also loves her daughter, and that's her daughter. So for her to make that kind of a choice and choose Reddington, who she's known for 6 weeks or 7 weeks, over her own kid, and to put her own kid through grief, that kind of grief that her mother is dead, you can't ever come back later and be like, just kidding. Listen, we had to do this. I needed to do this for this reason. Forgive me. I mean, any kid would be like, I don't know you.
And that kind of brings us into this, because everything you just said makes sense. And so then I wonder, okay, well then, did Anne know that Reddington was saying this? Did he just say to her, let me go and take care of it? But I guess if he did that, would she really accept that? Would she be like, okay, cool with that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility that maybe Anne is in some sort of a coma.
Yeah.
She's unable to speak or communicate or something along those lines, where Reddington has her somewhere safe, people taking care of her, doing the best that they can, best medical attention to try to get her through this. And in the meantime, Reddington was just like, you know what? I'm just going to take care of her daughter. I'm going to throw some money at her, make sure that she knows that everything's okay. And because I can't really explain why she's in a coma or if she's ever going to come out, I'll just tell her that she's passed away.
Here's the other big question I have with all of this with Dan, and it ties into Reddington himself, because this is a man who feels things very deeply.
Yeah.
we never really saw him mourn. We saw him, go to her daughter and they had that scene, but, think back to Cape May. Like, that whole basis of Cape May was him mourning the loss of Liz, and I understand Liz is somebody different, and I understand that Reddington has lost a lot of people in his life, but we never saw him actually, have a real romantic bond with anyone in the way that we saw with Anne. It felt like she mattered to him more than he would just forget about her or not talk about her.
I agree 100%. I thought there was going to be a real sort of mourning process with this, especially with how deeply Reddington feels for people. When he loves deep and he loves strong. I mean, we saw him love Liz like a love that we've never seen, that he was willing to give up 30 years of his life. Even when she betrayed him, he still loved her so deeply. So to see a relationship like that, a romantic relationship that was so deep for him, where he was ready to give up his life and have a normal life and all that sort of stuff, even though Demo was like, no, you can't do that. And it went by in a way that it felt like the grief was so fleeting for something so deep.
This is where I'm planting my flag with a lot of this. Because of everything you just said, I can't imagine Reddington is just numb to losing someone like this.
No, I don't believe it.
I think she's still out there. I am going to disregard what John Bokenkamp said. She is still out there. Series finale. She's coming back. We'll see her. Her and Reddington can go off into the sunset.
Okay, I would love to have an ending like that, but this is the Blacklist, and this is a dark show that does not give happy endings. Like, especially after just watching what happened, where Liz died without a straight answer on things. Yes, I know that it's interpreted that she got an answer, but she wasn't straight given an answer like, I am your mom, I am your dad, I am your neighbor, whoever you actually are. That wasn't given. So do I think that Reddington's get to run off into the sunset with Anne and Dembe and have a great life? No, I don't. But would I like it? Yes, I would. I would love to see Reddington have some sort of peace after everything that he has sacrificed for 30 years. Yes, he deserves it.
He does deserve it. And, Blacklist writers, I know you're listening 13 minutes in. Just consider this. He does not need to be, spoiler alert for Breaking Bad people who haven't seen it, he doesn't need to be Walter White and die at the end of this. I do not think that Raymond Reddington is an evil figure. He's done bad things. He has committed crimes. I'm not throwing any of that out the window, but I just, for whatever reason, I want him to have a happy ending.
I want him to have a happy ending as well.
Okay, well, we're obviously just romantics at heart here, and we want to root for Anne and Reddington, but...
Red Watchers, that's what we are.
That's right, we're bringing it back. Let us know, are you guys still on Team Red Watcher? Do you still believe in the way that we believe? There's a weird little heart. I don't even know if that... Okay, whatever. Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our other Blacklist discussions. Thank you, guys. We'll see you here next time.